Hey, hey. All right, so I went live on my personal profile and I want to make sure that this went through because I don't know that it did. I hope everyone is doing well. How was your Christmas and New Year's? Okay, there it is. All right, so I just want to share a little bit of information. Like I said, I talked on my personal profile. I want to share on here as well. There have been some updates to the FAFSA. If you weren't aware, typically the FAFSA released in October, and that FAFSA is a requirement for some colleges require it for any kind of financial aid packages. It is also something that the government is going to look at as far as do you qualify for any kind of need-based aid, as well as work study, grants, other financial information and needs. So it is a helpful thing to fill out whether you are going to get need or not, or whether you're going to get any kind of need-based aid or not. This year it was postponed, and what everything said from the government and from the law that passed was to simplify the FAFSA and that it needed to be completed no later than and ready for people to access no later than December 31st. And so we weren't quite sure when that was going to happen. And what ended up happening is a couple of days before that deadline, there was a soft launch. And so the soft launch meant that the website was up for a little bit and then it was pulled down, and that there were several people, more than several people. There were quite a few people who have been incredibly frustrated by not being able to get in and access the information. And so one of the things that I just want to encourage you all is don't stress if you can't get into it right away. Typically what happens in the first couple of days of the FAFSA being open is that there still are website issues, that people aren't able to access everything. Excuse me. And it can end up being frustrating. And so some colleges might say that you have a deadline of the 8th or the 15th or something like that. You have plenty of time to be able to get that FAFSA completed. So what I will say or suggest is that you not work on it in the evenings or on the weekends, because you're going to end up, that's when a lot of people are going to try to access it. So Twitter has said that the FAFSA is going to be open on Thursday and Friday, the 4th and 5th of January, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then I don't know what the weekend is going to look like yet. The other thing that the FAFSA Twitter or X profile has said is that it's not going to be even shared with colleges until the end of the month. So that's something else to consider. When you go in and you actually are looking at completing the FAFSA, there are a couple of things that I want to encourage you to do. So the first one is take a look, make sure that you have that FSA ID. That is something that it can take 1 to 3 days for you to actually get. It's something where you log in, make sure that you're on the actual FAFSA website, not just one of the ones that's showing up as the sponsored where people are paying for their ad to be up at the top. The other thing that you want to have is information about the student and parent, date of birth, social security number, email, all of those different pieces. And then you also want to have information on your income and your assets. Now, one thing that is being required as well is that in order to have your information linked over from the IRS into the FAFSA, that used to be something that you could enter all of that manually, and they've taken that away. So it is something where you will have to directly import your information from the IRS tool, but you still want to have information about your income and assets as the parent, and then also for the student. I know that was a really quick rundown. Those are some of the things that you will want to make sure that you have access to. Don't overly stress about it. If you have questions or there's a concern that you have or something that you want to talk through, please let me know. I am happy to walk through it. I will say I am not a financial planner. I am not a financial advisor. None of this is intended to be any kind of financial advice. It just is more of an update and information about some of what's coming with the FAFSA and some of those changes. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please share the information. I would love to hear from you if there's any specific questions that you have or other information that you want me to touch base about. Have a fantastic evening and take care. Bye.